Oh, for Christ's sake. I've got it. So let me start where I tried to start when I tried to start. There's a time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears, upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people that run it, to the people that own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all. Mario Savio at a speech, UC Berkeley, 1964. Welcome, everybody. What hell I go through. Now, let me see if this is even working because who knows? There it is. How wonderful. Okay, let me get the volume down on that. The sound is working. You people can see me. I need the sound off on that. This is the shitty tablet that isn't worth a fuck, but it is bigger and closer, and I can see your comments when anybody shows up. Which may take a while because I had the stream set and somehow it didn't save the settings properly. And then the phone needed to be upright, which I didn't want to do when I tried to adjust my tripod. It was too side heavy and it would fucking flip over. And I just said to fuck with it. And then I tried the second take and something fucked up and that failed. And then the third take and that failed. And now, with much fuckery, we are here. It is going from there. I can see it there. I know I can hear it there. That means that you can hear me and everything will be fine. Everybody that got a link to the show, however, is not fine. So now I need to share a new link. And we're going to do that because there's absolutely nobody here. I'm just babbling incoherently. And that's a shame. That really is a shame because I have been pushing myself to get back to these live streams for quite some time, actually. And you guys, if you've been on the channel for a while, you've seen that, there's an attempt and you don't hear from me for a month or more. And that's a shame. It is. Exhaustion, mental exhaustion and despair are a horrible thing. Let me put this in here. The last link. No good. Live here. And boom, and we'll copy that whole deal, bring it to Facebook. There's X. Go ahead and follow me on X, guys. Kevin One Fool. Couldn't get the One Fool wandering. Don't really care about X. Although I guess it can be a useful thing sometimes. But what a cesspool that has turned into. Uh, and I can assure you that Elon's free speech is bullshit. My account was deleted for telling the president to hang himself because obviously Twitter has to protect the president from my suggestions. Yeah, he's that unstable. I get it. I understand. Still don't think it's fair, but it says something, so I'll take it as a win. Okay, we got all that there. Now let's get back to where we were. If you are in the chat, I don't know, it says this too. I don't trust these numbers. Welcome to the chat. Let me know who you are. Mario Savio, I got some links for you guys tonight. Well, I can get the links in chat if you need them, but information is because you can read all day, but the point of this video, I've been struggling with getting back into the fight to save this country. When I knew when I quit, it was a fool's errand. That fate has been sealed, that we had been warned, and that justice will come, although slow. Some call it karma. And I love the country, man. I love the country. And I said, let me try again. Let me try again. And I just couldn't bring myself to do it because I knew it was the wrong thing to do. And I'm not the type of person that does the wrong thing. That's not to say I don't make mistakes. But if I know something's the wrong thing, I'm not doing it. You don't have enough money. You're not fucking big enough. You don't understand who you're dealing with. Death has no hold on me. It doesn't. I don't believe it exists. I do not believe that it exists. We'll get into that a little bit more. But anyway, welcome to the chat if you're in there. Mario Savio, born December 8th, 1942. He was one of those New York liberals, and he died November 6th, 1996. He was an American activist and a key member of the Berkeley free speech movement. We're still talking about free speech, except now freedom of speech is causing people to pepper spray each other and beat each other up, and death threats and doxing and destruction of property. And we haven't found that line where, yeah, you got free speech, you can say whatever you want. You can also get punched in the mouth, right? You can't just say whatever you want. We're a society. We maintain a level of respect, right? And people will say, well, you shouldn't. But what, if you're in a fight, someone has their fist, someone else brings a knife, someone else brings a gun, okay? Next guy brings a bomb. There's no rules in love and war. So get off your high horse. But Mario Savio, back when I first started becoming active, that speech lit the fire under my ass. It's very clear. You can't even passively take part, man. The endless hours that myself and others still now put into activism, and we're fucking way out of line, okay? But what I didn't realize, see, I was so naive. I didn't understand as much as I do now, and I thank cannabis. I thank the people that gave me input. I think not cutting my hair. I thank those things because all those things combine, listening to people that you totally disagree with or that you're curious about, know nothing about, and just taking in how they see it, and not letting it stir your emotions, right? Just, this is what they believe it is. Maybe I can use some of it. Maybe I think some of it's trash, but there's a fellow human there who's different than I am. He's singing a song I've never heard before, and it's great. But that's not how it is it? It isn't. Free speech doesn't give you the right to torment people, doesn't give you a right to be a public fucking nuisance and stop traffic and destroy property and just be foul and hateful. And if you notice what's going on with these activists, it's all politics. Some of them are claiming that, well, they're all claiming they're fighting to free the country and they're fighting amongst themselves. That can't be. It cannot be, because if you were fighting to save the country, you would be fighting against the government. And what I didn't realize when Mario, and now he'd already been dead. I was born in 70. He gave that speech in 64. So 6 years before I was even born, there was a human here telling us how bad the machine was. And it wasn't up to you and I to stop this. It actually wasn't even up to our fathers. Well, it was, because it was left on their lap, and now it's on the lap of the younger generation. But this shit's been going on longer than I've been alive. And it is a fool's errand to try to save the country, in my opinion. I'm a very compassionate person, but I'm also firm on discipline. I'll love the hell out of you. I'll whoop your ass. That's, I think they go hand in hand. You wouldn't recognize love if you didn't experience hate. It must be. I don't think there's really an argument. We have these kind of conversations with people. The first thing they start doing when they don't understand something is looking at you. If any of you came here thinking you were attending a beauty pageant of some sort, well, probably noticed my teeth are horrible. I've got long hair. I look like a hippie. I've already mentioned cannabis. In fact, I have a half a doobie right here in case I start getting upset, and then another one as well. It's in a container, but I rolled it myself. The container was a free doobie that I got, which you get with every purchase at Best Buds in Freiburg, Maine. Good family owned business. They grow most of the weed themselves, and they have top producers otherwise. Anyway, not compensated for that plug. But if you're near Freiburg, Maine, tell Adam and the crew the fool sent you. The long haired guy with the bandana, the only who you're talking about. Anyway, Mario Savio lit that fire, but what I didn't recognize is that it was already too late. That our government had already been involved in the overthrow of many foreign governments, and there's always a justification. Well, the victors write the books, right? So the stories we've gotten are that we were right to do so. If you take a fair look at the world, most people would call South American countries shitholes, third world countries. Well, would they have been if we hadn't have fucked with their economies, stolen their resources, instigated wars? Now look at the Middle East, same thing, right? Everybody's afraid of the Muslims. Oh, they're coming to get you. They've been here since the 50s, 1850s, that is. I'd say they're not very good at taking over foreign lands. Not like we are. Now we're in this middle of this. Hey, Jeannie, good to see you, sweetheart. Thanks for coming. There's a few others in there. Hit the likes, guys, please. I will be getting more active with this channel um, going forward. But the main point tonight is to give a few reality checks. To say that I'm not involved in any movement that's trying to save this country because, first of all, I don't think it'll happen. I've watched what's going on for a long, long time. I've participated in what's going on for a long, long time. The books have been written, the fate has been sealed, and it is just that this country, I think it was a ploy from the beginning because when I look at the real power structure in this country now, it's all the banking elite. Okay, you got Ivanka Trump on the Rothschild boat discovering an island. You're discovering an island when we have fucking satellites in the sky that have mapped, they know where every fucking worm is crawling. And you took a swim off your yacht and discovered an island. Unless that motherfucker was still steaming because a volcano underneath pushed it to the top of the water, you didn't discover shit. What the fuck? Look at what we're tolerating. This we do not deserve it. Okay, through the period of years that I was most active, we knew that the United States has involved itself in the overthrow or attempted overthrow, at least, of 45 countries. That pissed me off. That made me recognize that we have no right. And now, again, the Muslim thing, right? Listen, I'm going to be afraid of a Muslim when some dude with a towel on his head stands in front of me and is going to take my life. That has never happened. I don't expect it to happen. I know Muslims. We don't have a lot of them in this direct area, but I interact with them all the time. People that believe something. I think they are quite compatible to Christianity. Now, the violent extremists, no, but this violent extremist Christian, Jake Lang today, going to a state he doesn't live in, again, to cause hate and discontent and this, the Crusades, they're calling it. So you're going to mix the religion and the politics, and you're going to go to another city that is not your own and fucking torment people. Well, he was met with hundreds of people. He's lucky he got the fuck out of there. And the only reason he did get out of there is because the cops gave him shelter long enough so they could put his fucking ass in jail. That's right. These people that are going out and talking about freedom have no idea what it means to be free. And my original thought years ago was that the Constitution was a ploy. Again, because you see the power structure that really runs things, right? We have puppets in there that we elect to do the bidding of the people that run this place. They don't work for us. There's nobody that can say they do with any legitimacy. It's lunacy to think that they are. They're not. With the lobbying and the fucking influences and the corruption and insider, yeah, fuck it all. To fuck it all. Now, the Constitution was a great thing at the time, but I almost wonder if it was a ploy. Now, you got to try to think back then. It's very hard for us, right? You don't know how to mount a horse. You don't have a carriage to ride around in. You've never cooked you any red squirrel. Okay? Possum, whatever the fuck. But those men, most of the men that founded this country were tied to the banking elite. And my conspiracy mind says, well, if you've got 13 colonies and they're all free and they're all doing the same thing, and then you read the history, is that they couldn't afford to stay free. They had to come together for profit. Why that makes any fucking sense at all. But that's part of the story. And then the other part was for their safety. Yeah, so, oh, you must protect us, government. What sense does that make that they were all there, scared to death, about ready to be attacked, but they wrote something on a piece of paper and it brought them safety? What? That's fucking lunacy. I think the Constitution was a ploy to bring 13 free colonies back under one rule. They would believe it's their own rule, but the owners structured the document. Men that believed that women didn't have a whole lot of value, they should have no say in anything. Men that thought it was okay to enslave black people and beat them. They didn't mind having sex with them now and then, but they damn sure wouldn't tell anybody about it. They thought it was okay to slaughter the natives in the land, kind of like Ivanka Trump says it's okay to do on that island she discovered. What the fuck is really going on, people? What really happened way back then? And even if you diminish what I'm saying and you put no thought into it and you say you're a lunatic, okay, they had good intentions. They were good men. They gave this incredible document. It was great. If it was great, why'd we have to change it so many times? And is it serving everybody? No, no. It wasn't great. It was good. It was the best you could get at the time. But again, that's a long time ago. And things are different now. One of the things that are different now is the planet. We'll get into some of that here in a few minutes. I have some stuff I want to read to you. Uh, Share the links, guys. Get a like on there. I had a big screw up if you're just getting here with um, getting the stream to go. All the links I put out were no good because, yeah, anyway. So to take back the country, I think you would first have to collapse it. And this is what I thought way back when I really started getting active, really started to read bills and just reading anything that piqued my curiosity or irritated the fuck out of me. I'd read about it. And it always ended up the same. Like there's something that's just not right. And you see that people aren't the majority of people are not getting involved. And to get involved and to fix the country, you kind of have to shut life down for a while. And you can't shut life down for a while because you got to pay the rent, you got to pay the bills, you got to feed your kids. You're scared as fuck. A lot of people, most people in this country are not soldiers. That's okay. I'm not throwing shade on anyone. They're not soldiers. There's only a percentage of the people that are willing to fight. And you see the people that are willing to fight, they're on the left and they're on the right. They want to bind together, keep this two-party system. Maybe we'll pull a third party out of the middle of the two parties. And then you got the left being infiltrated by a whole other political system involving socialism. They call it democratic socialism because if they just say, I'm a socialist, you'll freak the fuck out. But then you start listening to some of the policies and you like it because if you listen to these people, it cures all the ills that you see. But it's not going to for long. It's not going to for long. It never has. I don't see why it would now. And even at that, there is racism in it. The left, which they big tent, right? Everybody welcome. The gays, the LGBTQ. I don't know how many fucking letters there are now. No shade. Be who you want to be. I don't care. I don't understand how another man wants to have sex with another man. I don't understand how a man thinks he's a woman. I don't understand any of that, but I don't hate you. Treat me honestly and fairly and, stay away from the kids, which I think most do. They don't have interest in, maybe some do. These are human beings. Do you see the robin scoffing at the blue jay? No, they just share the same airspace. They live in separate places and they both sing. They're not fighting amongst themselves. Leave me the fuck alone. Leave you alone. What's the problem? I think honestly that we're seeing all this. I do consider it. I don't want to say mental illness because I don't want to. Again, I'm not trying to put shade on any individual, but a change in human DNA because of a toxic environment. I think that's why we're seeing so much of it. I think we've poisoned people, and that has mutated part of the DNA or whatever the science is. I think that has a lot to do with it. A lot to do with that and social programming. Um, yeah, uh, but I don't understand it. But what I believe is that this is a free country, a place for everybody. But on the left, they take the blacks, the anybody that is is a minority, right? They really do a lot to stand up for them, but they attack the people that they claim are racists. There's a guy, and I think it's in Arkansas. I forget his name because I really don't give a fuck what your name is. I'm not big on names. I remember faces, actions, names, maybe after several years of involvement. But anyway, he started a whites only community. And I say, why can't he do that? Well, why? You don't have to live near people that you don't like. You don't have to like everybody. You just have to not fuck with anybody. You don't have to lie about people. You don't have to attack people, demonize people, judge people. You go over there and have your little community. I'd rather know where the racists are anyway. And I can guarantee you there are a shitload of places in this country. If you're white, you better not go. Now, I've never had a problem with that myself. I'm a different kind of person. I don't care who you are. I'm doing Kevin. I don't care what you feel about that. When I was 19, I was walking down streets in the south side of Chicago that cops wouldn't go unless they were 6 deep. There were a few people that didn't like the idea of that because you should be as dark as night to go down there. But it was clear that I was cool and that I would to be left alone. You know, when you got good pot, it helps. So there's that. But I've never worried about it. When we crossed the country, I was raising my kids. We moved into a Latino area because it's what we could afford. So good to me. Oh, my throughout my life, my Latino friends have just treated me like family. They really are. And if I live long enough, I'd like to, at the very least, visit Mexico, and if not, maybe move there. Um, Humble people. I like humble people. So anyway, what I saw, I'm thinking that the system needs a total teardown. The Constitution needs a revamping. We've seen over 200 years, words don't even mean the same thing anymore. A lot of words, right? Take the word patriot. Now, if you're a patriot, you are mostly MAGA, right leaning, extreme, many are, but you're taking a political side. Patriots overthrew a corrupt government. We were warned not to have a two-party system. And people are sick of the two-party system. And now we're going to have three. For a little while, they tried that, the Tea Party. How'd that work out? Right? Oh, I'm an independent. But you can't. You can't be an independent. There's only Democrat and Republican. You can't get on a ticket. You can't even say you're going to run for president unless you got millions of dollars, a bunch of people fucking funding you, causing hate and discontent. You can't do it. You or I, it's not we the people, it's them, the elite. The people that have the money fund the candidates that they decide to. Your choices are very limited. And it won't matter which one of those people, whether they got a blue hat or a red hat, doesn't matter. Pick any one of them. They don't care. They don't care. Nope. It's going to be the same thing. Maybe a few of them will do a little better this year than some of the others, but they'll do well enough, and then they'll switch anyway. It's like a fucking ping pong game. Red team, blue team, red team, blue team. We the people are getting fucking beat on every side. It's ridiculous. And what I saw a long time ago, I say I'm seeing the beginning of it now. Civil war. We're fighting amongst ourselves, and it's kind of funny because these in the real populated areas, right? The cities, there's been protests going on constantly. Now both factions are meeting and fighting in the streets, and the people out in the country, they don't see any of it. They don't see any of it. We're starting to see some of the boomers protest now and then here in New Hampshire, but we don't see any of that stuff. Many places don't. The farmlands, the ranches, but these cities are the engines that drive this country. The farmers are the fuel, right? We need the farmers, man. They're the fuel. They're out there. But if that economic engine dies, they'll be able to feed themselves, maybe. But will they be able to keep farms maintained and feed everybody in a collapse? I don't think so. We're knocking on the door of economic collapse. We have been for quite some time, and I'm actually surprised it's gone on this long. Well, we've just passed $40 trillion in debt. This is ridiculous. And now things are going to start compounding so quickly, we won't be talking about single trillions, it'll be tens of trillions very soon. And the only way the people that have stolen from us can get out of this is to collapse the system. They don't want you to unify and eliminate this. And the problem is there aren't enough people standing up. You can't. You can't even passively take part. So the idea of saving this country is gone. What I want people to do is just see the reality of where we are, an honest, hard look. Don't let it freak you out. Be thankful you recognize what is going on ahead of time and you make preparations. It's not just the economic fallout. I've also been watching space, earth changes, climate, geological stuff for a long time. I want to now go and give you guys some information that I don't think is really made clear to people when they watch the evening news or they watch the weather reports or any, you don't get the picture. But what I see is an uptick in everything, and it's getting drastic. Let's talk because I think when collapse comes, economic and societal and earth changes, catastrophic stuff, it's all going to kind of hit at the same time. And it's not going to be one event with like frogs in a pot of water. If you don't get out, it's too late. The U.S. has experienced $12 billion weather and climate disasters during the first half of 2026. These events, dominated by severe storms, caused at least 31.9 billion in damages and at least 183 fatalities. Only a half a year, people. The number of billion-dollar disasters so far in 2026 ranks fifth for the most January to June events since records began in 1980. Severe storms account for 8 of the 12 events so far in 2026. The frequency of billion-dollar severe storms has surged over the last decade, reaching a record 21 events in 2025. Through June of 2026, the U.S. has sustained 438 total billion-dollar weather and climate disasters since the 80s, with cost exceeding 3.2 trillion. The catastrophic events took an estimated 17,377 lives. And the point is that this isn't going to slow down. It's going to keep going. The climate is changing. Some will say it
In the
isn't.
first half of 2026,
Oh, wait a
there were
minute.
29 catastrophic weather disasters worldwide costing billions. These included severe storm outbreaks, major floods, and other events like European windstorms and tropical cyclones.
So, didn't expect that to speak to me twice. Um, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, the storms. More and more and more. People will deny that it's happening at all because of the propaganda, the agenda to sell electric cars, solar, all that. Corporations are putting, propaganda and shit out there so that they can make their money. And I'm all for some of these things. I do have questions about the electric vehicles. I see some benefits, but I know that it's all propaganda, really, mostly. History shows, though, the Earth went through trends like we're experiencing now. So that'll cause some people to start doing research to think nothing is wrong here. Oh, this is normal. Okay, it's normal. You could say that. And normally, when these things happen, it gets worse until everything's wiped out. So, should we really be fighting about the politics, or should we be living out our dreams, preparing the best we can, being the people that we should be, and let the bitch burn. You can't stop it anyway. People knew about this before I was born, folks. Mario Savio, the machine. Now we're in this weather destroying stuff, and some of you know, some of you've lived it. But in the tornado alley, there's no more tornado season, folks. There's just fucking tornadoes year round. No season.
By August 2026, there have been over 9,600 recorded earthquakes, including 11 major ones and 47 confirmed volcanic eruptions.
Overall, when you look at earthquake activity, there isn't a drastic increase. Some would say it's quite normal. It's a lot if you don't have any experience with it. If you look at the numbers in one way, you'll say, "Holy shit!" And then oh, that happens all the time. But where they're happening, the magnitude of the ones that are happening is changing, in my opinion, from what I see. Maybe there's more reporting, but it seems some pretty wild stuff. Um, so this year, so far in 2026, a total of 20,000, roughly 20,000 earthquakes happen every year. This year, 7.0 magnitude or greater, 11 major events, including the 7.8 quake in the Philippines. Some of you may have seen that destruction all over the place. A 7.5 sequence in Venezuela, and a 7.4 quake in Colombia. That southern plate has been pretty active. Magnitude 6 to 6.9, there have been approximately 80 to 91 quakes, and magnitude 5.9 over 9,500. Volcanic activity is moderate, but again, I think it's increasing myself slightly. Not as quickly as weather events, but we have like the Cascadia, the San Andreas, the New Madrid Zone, all of those overdue for catastrophic quakes. We got all these storms destroying homes and farms and flooding places that haven't flooded in 100 years. Possibility, all these things the government can't sustain. States are fighting to get any help from the federal government. The fires. One thing about the fires that a lot of people don't understand is that they are being made worse, and it's not because they're not raking the forest. They're burning hotter because of the aluminum that is in the geoengineering that coats the trees. That aluminum at a microscopic level is very flammable. It is half of the ingredient for thermite, the stuff that was used to destroy the Twin Towers. Did I say that? I said that. You can make thermite at home. Look it up on YouTube. It's just basically iron oxide and aluminum. It's basically all it is. Um, but that burns at an intensity that is abnormal. That's not just regular wood burning, it's almost like putting gas on it to some degree. So that's making the fires worse. States aren't getting any help. Some are, some aren't. Canada burning our neighbors. States volunteered people to go. The federal government wouldn't help. We need to drop bombs. That's what we need to do. Some other stuff I wanted to throw at you here quickly. Um, solar
While
flares.
precise counts of all solar flares are not kept, many medium and major flares, which are officially tracked, have occurred during solar cycle 25 activity in 2026.
So solar flares. I watch those, and those our magnetic field is weakening, magnetic pole moving. That's another normal thing. But during those events, other catastrophic things happen. Magnetic field gets weaker. So when we have these solar storms, Small solar storms have affected our way of life. They've shut down radio, they've shut down cell stuff, and nobody comes out and tells you it. Really, nobody's talking about it. Really, not on the mainstream. But these events are just at the beginning stages, and they're going to get worse. It does fuck with the weather. It does have an effect on earthquakes and volcanic activity. So that's getting worse. The volcanoes and earthquakes, even if they're the same level now, I don't think they are. I think it's increasing, but it's going to get worse. The storms stirred by electrical currents that are hitting the earth and our protective shell is less able to protect us now. So storms, that's going to have an effect. The warming is going to have an effect. We're in tough shape, and I think all that stuff is going to come together. And it's like chopping a tree, piece after piece after piece. Eventually, the tree falls. And all this shit, especially with the politics and the money, it was too late when I was born. Obviously, we're here now. Could it have been stopped if my fathers and grandfathers had recognized it and fought? Yeah, it could be now, technically. But I don't see that the majority is going to stand up. And I want to say, I see a lot of stupid, bad shit on both sides as far as coming out on the street and what they're doing. But I have an admiration for anyone that gets the fuck off the couch because they're just sick of the way things are. The problem, the propaganda, the intentional manipulation of people's thoughts, the echo chambers that social media are. Now, when you look, if you just watched all these protests, that's all you're going to get fed. And you would think, without any other knowledge involved, but just from what you're seeing now, that the end is right now. But it's not. It just seems that way because that's all you're taking in. And you're going to side with one side or the other. I highly suggest everybody on social media fuck that algorithm up. Go look for people that disagree with you and follow them and comment on their stuff and listen to what they have to say. Do not get in those silos. You start believing shit that isn't happening. There are not that many people on the streets. A couple hundred people, 1,000 people, that's, you could say that's a lot of people. But when you're talking about a nation this big, 335 million people, 1,000? Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. 50% should be off the couch, but they're not because they're not soldiers. Things have been feminized. Love women, but they're not, most aren't warriors. Look at the men. Maybe they're good people, but they're not the men that risk everything to fight. And the people that are willing to fight are being made to believe what the owners want them to believe. And they're in foreign lands right now, dropping bombs on people that never did anything to them, blowing up the schools, children. And they believe they're good men. And they believe they fight for God. And they believe they fight for their country. And you have to thank them for their service, even though you hate it. Because anyone that gets up and fight is a good man or a good woman. There are women. There's some women out there. God bless you. Do you? But stop believing this shit, man. Stop believing it. everybody should be looking at things like storing food, having a way to sustain life, rather for power sources, heat, food, water. And some of you in my midst have been doing this for a long, long time. You could disregard the need to save anything because you've been saving food for 20 years. I want to know how much of it is still good. Now is the time to go back through all your provisions that you've put away, use up things that are still safe but aren't going to be in a few months or a year. Replace those. If you find stuff that is outdated, a lot of canned goods and stuff, the date may or may not, but maybe start eating that older stuff up that's questionable, but you can prove that it's still good, and replace it with fresh stuff. If you find stuff that's out of date and it doesn't feel safe to eat, find a farmer with pigs or chickens. They can eat a lot of that stuff. If there isn't any farmers near you, take all that stuff in a bucket out in the woods and dump it for the animals to eat. Don't just throw it in the trash. Okay, if you have a compost pile, it's a different thing. Do that. That's fine too. But make some use out. Make use out of everything you have, and start thinking about how am I going to live with no power. What did we just see here recently? Was it 7 states, 11 states, or 11 precincts with no water? What that just happened? Some accusations that it was Iranian hackers. I say I don't give a fuck who it is. I just recognize it as our life is very, very feeble, very feeble. And in a minute, everything can change. And you can't take care of yourself. And your neighbors hate you because, well, you're just yelling at them because of the way they live. Whatever the case, you got to take care of your families. Have ears that are listening, eyes that see. Drop all your bullshit. If you're involved with this fighting with your fellow Americans, knock it off. Mike in the chat, good to see you, buddy. Millions homeless. Mike brings up a good point. I'm glad you threw that in there, Mike. Thank you. Welcome. Hopefully you subscribe. I'll be doing more stuff and some traveling coming up. But I was watching. Shout out to guy on YouTube, Nick Johnson. He is a guy that goes around the country, all these different communities, highlights what's going on in those communities, what's available for housing. That's his niche. He looks at it from the real estate, but we get the impression that these Democrat shithole cities, right? That's where the drugs are. That's where the homelessness is. That is not the case. That is not the case. You need to stop listening to people. He was in Oklahoma City. Same thing we see in Pennsylvania or in Portland, Oregon, or wherever. Homelessness, drugs on the street. It was a little nicer. It wasn't quite as bad, but it's the same thing. People camping outside of a restaurant. People don't even want to go in and eat. People shitting in the streets. Look what's happening. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate the sub. Food and ammo, another good thing. A weapon of some kind. Yes, multiple weapons. And if you are a felon and cannot own firearms, one thing I will, some people say get a crossbow. I did that and it's fucking useless for home defense. Okay, you can't use it strong. I bought one and actually got caught up in the hype because they're pumping these fucking crossbows out so quick. They're pieces of shit. And within 2 dozen shots, I have the sign of a cracked limb. I want you to look into PCP air guns. Amazing. Be careful. Don't get caught. There's still hype there. They're still pumping them out. But what has gone on in the air gun field is simply amazing. Absolutely legal. There may be some towns that you can't look up the law, but you can order that through the mail and have it shipped to your door, ammo and all. Get you a compressor, have something you can hunt with, something you can protect yourself with. There's a lot of stuff. As soon as I can afford it, I have one in mind that I'm excited for. There's one standby that's a good value, but there's a newer one on the market, and I'm just waiting maybe another 6 months to see how other people fare with it. But right now, it's in the front runner. It's like $500, so it's low budget. Um, 22, 25, and 30 caliber. The North Tech Qilin, Qilin. Powerful. I think the 30 cal was putting out like 135 foot-pounds. For those that don't know, that's they say 140 for a deer. You can take a deer with less than that. I would not use a 30 caliber air rifle on a deer. Most states require 35 caliber, but you can get those. You could get 72 caliber. Okay, you can get an air rifle and go hunt an African water buffalo and take it down in one shot. So don't scoff at the idea of an air gun. Okay, you can get an automatic air gun that shoots faster than an AR-15. Yes, that's right. Of course, you're going to burn through lead real quick, and it's kind of foolish. You want to be very conservative with your shots, but if you want to have something to have fun with and spray 30 bullets in the blink of an eye, there's one for that, about $800. Um, yes, Mike, AEA has some power. I'm a little leery though that um, because I was thinking about the Challenger Pro. I like that rifle, but that's proven after a year to have more problems than I want to deal with, especially for the money. I think the Challenger Pro was somewhere around 1,000. I wanted the Pro Elite actually, the bullpup style. North Tac is a partner of AEA, based out of California. Supposedly, they're built in California. I'm going to assume they're not built in California, that they're assembled in California. Um, but they really $500, and as powerful, if not more, than those AEA models, the Challenger Pro. So, um, yeah, be good to each other. What's coming up with me? We're getting short time here. I'm really hoping. The plan is to leave New Hampshire October 1st, start driving towards Texas to see my youngest son and three grandbabies that I've never met, two girls and a boy. One I just confirmed actually a couple months ago that I thought I only had two. I wasn't absolutely sure. I knew there might have been another child, and it wasn't confirmed to me. It is now, and I found out the day before her second birthday. Ophelia, beautiful girl, and we have Xander, and I am horrible. I've got to look. I have six grandbabies, and again, I hate names. I'm bad with names, and it's just slipping me. And I'm not gonna. Um, Grace, let me. I am an ass. I hope my son doesn't. Where are my Adeline? I didn't want. I knew it, but I wasn't confident. That's bad enough. Adeline Grace Faye. And then, so Texas, be there for about a week or so, and then start the trip up to Oregon. I'm excited for that because I've met one of my grandbabies, my first grandchild I have met. Um, and since then, there is another baby girl, Nevaeh, and another baby boy, Noah. So it'll be exciting to see my oldest son and those three grandchildren, and my middle son lives out there. It'd be good to see him. Last I knew, he was kind of in the stepdad role to a young boy that really admired him. I'm not sure where that stands now. Um, but then also in Portland, there's a guy, I want to give him a shout out. Yeah, thanks, Mike. I've earned the right to forget. Damn. Um, there's a gentleman. He's here on YouTube. You can find him. Portland Bipolar, William Napier. And a lot of people will say this and that and the other thing, but I've watched William. He was came to me my awareness out of this activism thing. Me watching because I watch Oregon because my kids live there, my grandkids are there, and I need to know what's going on in their world too. Um, William is bipolar and post traumatic stress. And about a month, little over a month ago, he started doing daily live streams. And what I see him doing is having a lot. I watch a lot of his streams, having a lot of fun and making a safe place for people with bipolar or other mental health issues to gather and chat and nonsense. I watched him eat a pickle covered in chocolate just for the hell of it. He set a goal with super chats, but um, he's figuring out the YouTube thing, and I'm going to meet up with William and have a beer while I'm out there because I just think he's a nice, honest guy, and he's just a silly fucker and a fun guy. Aside from any of the shit that came his way because of his got involved with activism for a short time, and that really didn't go well. Didn't go well at all. Um, but it brought him to this point that he is now. So I want to go spend a day with him and have a beer, and that would be cool. And then start the trip back. So that's starting October 1st. If anybody wants to help out with this, I have no budget. Okay, I'm going to be leaving here with I don't know how much money. I don't give a fuck. Nothing is stopping me from seeing my grandchildren before I die, and I will not take any public transit. I won't fly. You're not touching me. You're not searching my shit. I don't go anywhere without a knife and some weed, and so I'm just not a good customer for public transportation. I will drive. I'll be taking my car, which is an '08 Impala, taking the seats out, making a platform, and because I'm not going to have money to stay in motels every night. So I need a place to lay down on the road. And I'll be seeing some people that I've made friends with. Florida is definitely a stop. Nebraska is definitely a stop. Ohio is definitely a stop. And I'm sure if I thought about it, there are other places that I'm definitely going to stop. Um, I'm going to spend a couple days, hopefully, down in the Keys. I miss Marathon. Um, going to spend, weather permitting, I'll spend a few days in Port Aransas, Texas, on the Gulf Coast, lay on the beach for a few days. Um, and I'm sure there'll be other people that I stop and see on the way. But I will be doing my work, which is mostly delivering for Walmart. I can work anywhere in the country. And so I don't give a fuck. I'll work till the money runs out. I mean, I'll drive till the money runs out. I'll sleep in the car and I will work and I will go until the gas runs out and I will work. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going to see my grandkids because I'm of the opinion that we don't have a lot of time left. I don't have a lot of time left. I don't think. I don't know what that means. Might be 10 years. I don't know. Might be tomorrow. I don't know. But things are at such a point that I'm not going to wait until the water's boiling before I decide to get out of the pot. I'm going to go see them, and I want you guys to do the same thing. That if there's things you've put off, get to it. Get to it. You got to do it. If the economy doesn't collapse and a tornado is going to take your house down anyway, or you're going to get flooded, or you're going to, right? It's all around us all the time. It's fucking nuts everywhere. Whatever it is you have put off, if it's simply spending more time with your kids and your family, do that. If it's buy a puppy, whatever it is, do it because we're knocking on the time that you're not going to be able to do a goddamn thing but survive. And that's if you're one of the lucky ones. I fully believe that. No, Mike, we don't have. a lot of time. And it's just. I think it's just that the country fall. I hate saying that. But you've got to be honest about what we've done, folks. We don't have a right. And it's not just the United States. Look, the whole planet is doing this. People are losing their fucking minds everywhere. Common sense, that went away a long time ago. We know that. Now it's gone to a point that it's just fucking lunacy. Absolute lunacy. You can't say anything to someone out in public because you don't know if they're going to snap or not. Even if it's friendly, hey, how you doing? Fuck you, boom. You don't know. You just don't know. So don't put off anything. I think for tonight I basically covered everything. I want to get on here and do more of this, but I had intended to put effort into taking steps to, you know, save the country and activate people and organize people. But I just know it's a fool's errand. It's why I stopped a while ago. The idea has been tormenting me because, you know, you hate to see it happen, even if it's justified. But I think it is justified. I think we fucked with too many people. I think the earth is going through a change. And I'll end with this because a lot of people are scared of death. And I don't believe in death. I believe death is nothing more than a transition to another stage of life that we don't fully understand. But we've been programmed to fear that. And even the people that believe in God, when COVID came around and there was risk of dying, they scrambled and injected themselves with experimental drugs, and they went beyond that and insisted that you must do it too. Because even though we have an appointment with God, well, we can't go now. We 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 don't want to go. They do everything in their power. They're taking all these pills every day. They're on the subscription plan with Big Pharma because they don't want to die. They don't believe what they espouse. No. Let me ask you this. Couple things. How much does death weigh? Everything weighs something. Everything. My glasses are pretty light, but they still weigh something. They weigh something. Even this half a doobie, I never got. That must be I didn't get pissed off. Um, there's no time to be pissed off. It doesn't do you any good. What? How much does death weigh? It must weigh something. Everything that is weighs something. You say, you fool, it doesn't weigh anything. Then it doesn't exist. I, it doesn't exist. Do you see dead people? If you see dead people, maybe you should be on the subscription plan to Big Pharma. It's a transition. We can't fathom it. Just like when you were in the womb, you didn't have a plan of when you were leaving there, did you? Did you decide how many days you would be there? No, you didn't. No, you didn't. So, because fear is control, right? Fear is profit. And I'm sick of other people making money off me. I don't do the doctors. Oh, that's another piss me off. I'm glad I smoked this. I have a prop over here because I am pissed off. This is kratom. I have what I believe to be arthritis, along with curvature of the spine. Every day that goes by, I ache more. have for a long time. I was told when I was, I think, 35. I'm 56 now, by the way. When I was 35, that I should stop doing carpentry. Yeah, and I had 3 babies in diapers then. And I loved it. I didn't stop. I did quit for many years later in life and then went back to it a couple of years and totally fucked myself. Went back at gung ho, mixing large fucking floors of concrete by hand on a couple projects, fucking building additions up 2 stories by myself. And anyway, I have a lot of pain. I believe it's like rheumatoid arthritis or some type of arthritis because it's in the joints all the time and it rotates. Days are better than others, depends on the barometric. Anyway, kratom. If I had listened to the doctor, I would be hooked on opiates right now. I would probably qualify for Social Security and I'd be eating pills and I'd be a fucking zombie. Instead, I don't take any pills. I get relief as needed. This is no magic bullet. It doesn't take 100% away from the pain. Maybe it would if I abused it, but I don't. I use small amounts daily, sometimes hourly, sometimes only a couple times a day, as needed. Again, I don't have to take the pill because somebody else wrote down on a piece of paper, take your pill. What? How do I know I need it every day? Most of these medications you have to take constantly. They even test you. If you don't have enough opiates in your system, they pull your fucking prescription once you're hooked on pills. Right. Maybe you start doing heroin or fentanyl or whatever the newest fucking thing is. Kratom. Been using it for 7, 8 years. Now, because of the concentrates, and I forget the chemical in here, but there's a chemical that's in trace amounts. If you extract that chemical and give it out to people in large doses, they get a euphoria or whatever, and they also can die. And people are dying from it. But rather than outlawing the concentrates, they're attacking the plant and trying to make it illegal. New Hampshire just passed some laws, I think, that take effect next month. I should know more about it. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what law you pass. Hear me now. I don't give a fuck what law you pass. If it is unjust, I am going to ignore it and I'm going to do everything in my power to work against it if it's in my best interest. And what is in my best interest is using this leaf powder to bring the pain to a level that I can manage my responsibilities, maintain my life, not be addicted in the way that opiates and other things. This does have some withdrawal, but it's nothing near an opiate. You're not going to, unless you're overindulging in this stuff. If you're using it to escape life, it could be, for some people, dangerous. This is not medical advice. I encourage you to do your research, but I'm telling you that for over 7 years, I have not had to take a pill and I've been able to manage my life so that I didn't become a burden on the system. And they want to take that away from you. There is no fixing such a government, folks. There is no, and you're going to see the internet, I'm already seeing it, propaganda up the ass, demonizing that leaf because some assholes learned how to manipulate one minuscule compound in it. Kratom, for those that don't know, not only works on pain, but there's like 4 different strains: yellow, white, green, red. They all work a little differently, and they're very similar, but just in the drying process of the leaf changes the anyway, the strength or the effectiveness. Also helps with, what's the other big one now? Anxiety, depression, bipolar? Yeah, yeah. People get relief from that. That's another subscription pill, right? Everybody's anxiety, everybody needs antidepressants, psychotropic drugs for everybody. Prescription plan. And don't worry if you can't pay for it, the taxpayers will take the burden. But we're going to take away, this bag costs $50. It lasts me about a month, maybe more. It doesn't put me in any state that is euphoric at all. I take it every day. I'm fully functional. I don't trip, slur, fall. I drive great. Have not had an accident in fucking. I've never had an accident that was my fault. One exception, 10 years ago. Little thing. Nobody hurt. I avoid, and I drive a lot of miles. My car, I got it 74,000 miles. I have 92,000 on it now. I just got it in the middle of March. I put a lot of miles on. I avoid at least one or more accidents every day that would have been someone else's fault, because evidently four-way stops, rotaries, they're a mystery to us. We don't know what a yield sign is. None of it. Anyway, now see, I get pissed off. Attacking the plant. We saw this with cannabis. I think it's time. But I have people messaging me some little screenshot of a partial report from a doctor that somebody's child died because of Mitragana uh, intoxication. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They died because of the one compound. It was at OH7 or some shit. Minuscule amount. If you went to any place, the gas stations that sell this, maybe labeled as kratom, other things, O7H or whatever the fuck. One little pill that they sell you, I think it's like $5 or $10. I haven't tried it, don't intend to. I could not make one of those pills out of this whole fucking bag. The concentrate's dangerous. What does Big Pharma want to do? Take the whole plant. You don't have a right to decide. Fuck you. No, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. There's states I'll drive, I'll stock up. I don't give a fuck. And God forbid anyone that tried to fucking put me in jail for having that fucking plant. I think I would fucking lose it. 7HO. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, you know what's going on. Yeah. The 7HO. I know a friend personally in Florida, her son got hooked on that. And he's trying to get off it, and the same type of withdrawals you see with opiates. So, but when you talk about freedom, right? So kids shouldn't be able to have that. If somebody else wants to do that, what is freedom, right? Well, you can't do that because you'll end up putting a burden on society. They always tell you some bullshit. Freedom is costly. Okay, freedom is costly. I will say that. So anyway, yeah, big trip coming up, guys. It says it in the description. Any content I put out, you'll never get a copyright claim from me. If you can find a way to use it, more power to you. No problem. Hopefully you give me a shout out or something. But never get a copyright claim. Information should be free, and it will be free. There are some links and info in the description as well if you want to support my efforts. Again, I don't have a nest egg to do what I'm about to do. I'm risking everything. And time is short, and I had some unexpected bills. So if you want to chip in, there's a Cash App, a PayPal, a Venmo, and there's also an Amazon wish list that I'll leave up for the next 2 weeks, and then it'll be too late. But of stuff that I would like to have to make the trip more comfortable and allow me to do some camping in some certain areas. And I'll be giving you guys footage from all over the US during this trip when I'm stopped and not with family, which will be quite a few places and times. We'll do live streams. Before I leave, I'd been intending to do a sit out by the campfire and some drinks one night. I don't usually drink, but I'm due for a night out. And I'm one of the you just grab a bottle and a cup of coffee, and that's you just drink and chase and drink and chase, and then none of this fancy stuff. I live very humbly. Um, it's how I live. I'm in a 10 by 12 shack I built myself, battery powered lights, everything's battery. I'm happy as a pig. I don't my water I carry in 5-gallon jugs. I I'm good living, not a burden on society. I earn my own money and I help my parents by paying their light bill and their cable bill. They're one form of enjoyment. So I pay those for them, and when they have emergencies, I try to help them out. Other than that, there's no money. Um, but if you guys want to help chip in, that'll all go towards seeing my grandbabies, or you can again the Amazon wish list, all in the description. I'm going to get out of here for tonight, and I'm not going to give you a promise about when the next live stream is because my health is real. My energy levels are up and down. I've got a lot to do, but I do want to spend time with you guys and keep this more active as time goes on. And each time we do, you can expect some information that I think you need to hear. And then I'll do my best to interact with chat. There's only a few people that have been here for the live. Mike, thank you. You've been very active. You obviously know some stuff. Your eyes are wide open. So um, that's fucking fantastic. I love it. Anyway, guys, much love. Thanks for the time you do give. This will process and be available after the fact. And yeah, I'll see you on the interwebs.